Eros Meets Agape is a bi-weekly heart-to-heart conversation about love, sex, marriage, and relationships. Everyone wants to love and be loved, but everyone does not know how to give and receive the love they both want and need. Intimacy and passion are essential, yet mean nothing if there isn't unconditional and sacrificial love, which is the foundation for any lasting relationship. Dr. Saudia is a licensed marriage and family therapist and minister. Let's listen in as she shares how to create healthier and happier relationships.
Hey there, family. I am so excited to share with you my new Selfie series, No Dessert Before Dinner. And before you go there, no, it has nothing to do with a selfie pic. It has everything to do with, however, self-love. We are going to grow in our ability to increase our self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem. So if this is for you and it's something that you're interested in or someone you know, join me in the classroom because we're going to dive in. Hey there, folks. It's me, Dr. Saudia, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Eros Meets Agape podcast, where today I'm going to start my new series, No Dessert Before Dinner. Now, what does that mean? So let me just go ahead and be real, all right? So real quick, if you have kids in the room, shuffle them into another area or put on your AirPods, whatever it is, your Beats, whatever it is, because we're going to talk a little bit about sex. And when I say a little bit about sex, we're not going to get into tips and tools or things like that. But we're really going to talk about how, let's just be honest, I'm going here, how sometimes when we give of ourselves sexually, but we don't have the relationship that we want because we're using that as a foot in the door approach to get the guy that we want, but yet we end up giving of ourselves and not having what we want in the end. It's time out for that. It's time out for situationships. It's time out for entanglements. Anything that means that we don't have the title that we want, it's time to put away with that. We don't have time to play. Life is precious, and it's all about giving the best of ourselves 1,000%. Nothing is wrong with that. Now, you know me, I'm a Christian. I believe in no sex before marriage. But here's the thing, and this is why I'm going to say this. That might not be for everybody, right? We all are on different levels in life. I believe it is, but in the same sense, we have to get to a place where we see that as not being helpful for ourselves. Now, what does that mean? Because some of you are probably already like, she has lost her mind. I am not about to give up my sex and be sexless and still not having a man. Not doing it. To each his own. I'm not here to judge anybody. But what I am here to do is say, wait a minute, hold up. How many women have really given of themselves sexually to someone and he can't even fulfill you emotionally? You're still depleted emotionally. He's not able to meet your emotional needs. Now, look, I'm not here to bash any guy because we all have things that we're working on. But I am here to say, wait a minute, there's nothing wrong with loving someone else. But how much are they really loving you outside of the bedroom? Are they really loving you in the way that you need and in the way that you want? Are you getting what you want from this relationship while you are giving this other individual the things that they want? And the reason why I know you're giving them what they want, because we as women, that's what we do. We give of ourselves 1,000%. And when we do so, we don't always do it in the hopes of, yeah, now you're going to give me 1,000%. We generally do it because that's just who we are. And we are just natural nurturers who love to love. But how many times do we do that and we still leave with nothing or depleted or don't have what we want? Or we're trying to prove ourselves. We're trying to prove ourselves or work our way towards a title of girlfriend or wifey. You don't have to prove yourself. Someone will either see you or they won't see you. They'll either like you or they won't like you. They'll either love you or they won't love you. But you don't have to audition to be a wife. You don't have to audition to be a girlfriend, nor do you have to settle for a situationship. You don't have to settle for an entanglement. You don't have to settle for a booty call or this or that in the hopes that that's your foot in the door, because eventually if you can just get your foot in the door, then oh boy, we'll move on to the next level of what you all are experiencing. Let me tell you that doesn't work. Here's why. Let me tell you why. When I was growing up, my brothers, I have a brother and a cousin like a brother to me, sat me down collectively as well as separately, telling me their own experiences, telling me ways in which they would speak to a person, a young lady, for the purposes of solely getting whatever it was that they wanted. Now, when I say whatever, it could have been sex, could have been money. It could have been whatever. Whatever it was, they would tell me the stories. Now, guys, my cousin was something else. I've had him on the show before, so I'm not saying anything he hasn't already said, but the things that he would do would teach lessons to girls, things that he would do just to be spoiled. He was like, look here, Sadia, I don't want you being that girl. Okay. When I say that girl, meaning deceived, manipulated, mistreated, misused, taken advantage of. He said, these are the things that guys will say to you. Him and my brother are like, these are things that guys will try to do. And this is what they're hoping to gain. So they went through this laundry list of stuff. And I listened intently because I just got to be honest. I'm not the finest thing walking on earth. And don't get me wrong. I believe that I am cute. I do like how I look. But I recognize I'm just not naturally appealing to all of the world. So I needed extra information so I could use information for my betterment. And in learning from them, it allowed me to be in circles and scenarios where I was able to maneuver in a way that allowed me to have wisdom, but also allowed me to be able to make wise decisions. And when I say that, I've told you all before, I've dated athletes. And athletes, dating an athlete, dating to them is like being in a kid in the candy store. It's number of these things. So I learned really early, giving a guy sex, that was not going to be my ticket to a relationship, because if you're dating an athlete, everybody wants to give him sex. So how about I be the person that is not doing that? And I'm just going to be honest. It worked for me. So just being honest, if you knew me and dated me, you know I didn't give up anything. That's just how I was, because I learned from my brothers. But in the same sense, I saw friends that were doing things that was not getting them what they wanted. And I didn't want that for myself. I wanted something different. And so I applied what I learned, but in the process, it helped me to build my self-regard, self-love. Now, before I go any further into these stories, because I could tell you a number of them, let me kind of give you some backdrop. Now, if you want a little bit more detail, self-esteem and self-worth, I did an episode on the podcast, and I believe that's episode 87. So I go into greater depth about self-esteem, self-worth, and self-care in that episode. Now, when we look at self-love, think of it like an umbrella. Self-love is going to be the umbrella, and it's, let's just say, you know, it's raining love, right? And you have this umbrella of self-love that is up, right? Well, actually, let me not say raining love. Let me say raining havoc, raining situationships, raining entanglements, raining disrespect, raining unkindness. Okay, so it's raining all of those things, and the umbrella of self-love is up. Okay. Up under self-love, right? Holding up that umbrella, we have self-esteem, we have self-worth, we have self-care, we have self-regard, we have self-importance. We have a number of things, all right? Not saying that we should be all about ourselves, because we also need to be humble and meek and kind and gentle. All of the things in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8. Y'all know me. I love Jesus, and I'm going to drop some Jesus and stuff too. All right. So when we look at self-love, it will encompass all of those things. It's sitting up under this umbrella, and it should be shielding us from all things that are not love, right? Now, when we don't have self-love, then that umbrella isn't holding itself up, right? So if that umbrella isn't holding itself up, then that means disrespect, unkindness, all types of negative things are raining down on self-esteem, self-worth, self-importance, self-regard. It's raining all over that, because self-love isn't the umbrella to shield it. When I'm talking about No Dessert Before Dinner, my new series, it's really all about building up our self-love. Here's the reason why I believe this is important. Now I get it. This won't apply to everyone, and it shouldn't. And if this doesn't apply to you, I am thanking God for you, because that means that you have a high regard of self, which means you have a great sense of self-love. And I am so thankful for you, because that means that you have people in your circle that you are sharing that knowledge and wisdom with, that you can show them how to grow in self-love. But everyone doesn't have it. As well, some people are trying to understand it and grow in this place in themselves, but they just don't know how. And why? Because not everyone grew up in an environment where love was taught, love was expressed, love was modeled. The behaviors of healthy love was not exhibited. So if I never saw it modeled before me, then I can't be that. One thing as a counselor and a coach, my job, I always have to be the bridge, meaning whatever the problem is, I have to be on the other side of the problem, modeling the healthy way to go about handling this thing, or exhibiting ourselves, or speaking and believing and thinking a certain way about ourselves or the situation. But either way, I have to know what that is. I have to know what it looks like. So I'll be honest, I got to thinking, and I'm talking with the Lord, and the Lord dropped this series in my spirit, No Dessert Before Dinner. And let's just go back to the truth. We as women, we give 1,000% of ourselves to a man in a relationship, or hoping it can lead to a relationship, only to end up depleted because we have given and poured into someone else, but they did not do the same. Now, that just means that true love was not there. It might have been a great deal of lust. It might have been a whole bunch of care, but it could not have been a whole lot of love. Now, I know that's not great English, but if you've ever been a kid and, your parents say, how much do you love me? You stretch your arms out. I love you this much. And you stretch your arms out so wide, right? That's the whole point. We're looking to acquire love that is so far and wide. Okay, I believe that's Jesus' love. And when we seek the Lord, he will bring us someone that is a blessing to us. Whereas when we're giving and depositing in them, they are also doing the same for us. But many times we as women, we audition for relationships. So we'll get in a situationship, or we'll get in an entanglement, or in essence, we'll simply just pretty much continue to see someone repeatedly. I can't say that's dating. We'll say kicking it. We'll be kicking it with somebody, but we don't have a relationship, knowing deep down inside that's really what we want, and we're hoping that that's what we can do. Now, I'm not going to say I'm innocent. I remember cooking for a guy and giving him food like, oh, he'll be able to see that I can cook, and that's good wifey material. I was stupid. Hear me, stupid. I did that twice in my life. Same guy, same time period. I did that for a month, meaning not for an entire month I cooked for him, but I cooked twice for him. And I said, hold up, this is not even my man. Why am I cooking for him? And I got to a place where it was just like, if you hungry, there's food out there in America that you can go and purchase if you don't know how to cook. Or let that other chick do it, because I'm not going to do it, right? Situations whereas I haven't been the kindest person dating and growing up, but that's because I had brothers that deposited into me to show me and to teach me what things not to do so that I wouldn't be taken advantage of. And as a result, I grew and learned so much about guys. I learned how they think. I learned the things that they say. I learned the things that they'll say when they're trying to get out of conversations, or when they're trying to lie and avoid situations. I was blessed to learn a lot. Now, the benefit is that I never really dated guys that acted in that manner. But when I did see it, I knew what it was about. And unfortunately, I have to say, I played the game like, oh, okay, you want to play this game? And let me give you an example. I dated a guy who literally told me, oh, you're going to give me some sex. He pretty much said, you're going to get me some. Sorry, cover your ears, guys. And I was thinking like, how dare you tell me what I'm going to do? Now I'm blessed because he really could have taken advantage of me, but I was blessed in the fact that he didn't. And I was thinking like, how dare you tell me what you think I'm going to do when you don't even know me? Now, at the time I was young and stupid, and I felt like, oh, okay, that's what you're trying to get out of me. Well, how about I get some dinners out of you until you realize you're spending your money, but you're getting nothing in return. And I felt like, if you want to treat me like this, then let me treat you how you are trying to treat me. Now, ladies, I am not saying that was the best approach I should have had, But I felt like, how dare you? And I felt that, and my point is headed in this direction because I regarded myself so much. I felt like, how dare you try to take advantage of me and get something out of me? I am not a commodity. I am a person with feelings. And for you just wanting to get sex out of me, for what? I felt like I deserved more. I felt like, no, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm about. I wasn't the chick growing up that guys could, have sex with. That just wasn't me. Again, my brother and my cousin taught me what to do and what not to do. And I learned by really watching other people. Well, gee, if that's how they're being treated and they're giving in, I'm not doing that. And I even remember being in a situation where a guy that I dated, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever it would be at the time, it was almost like it was a triangle. So he and her were together or not together, I don't know. And I don't know what stories he was telling her. But he would be in my face, really trying to be with me, trying to get sex out of me. And I liked him. I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't, because I did. In fact, I loved him. But I looked at it like, nowhere did I ever learn about a triangle relationship. So unless you can man up to be with me and get rid of her, I'm not giving you anything. And I'm quite certain, because of our affection for one another, and, he would do things for me. It was just out of kindness or what have you. But there was no sex happening because I felt like, you have someone. There is no way I'm going to have sex with you and you're having sex with her and who knows how many other people. Now, I'm quite certain that young lady thought he was having sex with me. Little did she know, if she had had a conversation with me, she would have learned, no, but I could tell you the list of people that he is having sex with. That I can do. But I'm not about to be one of the players on the team. I wasn't built like that. No, I can't be a player on the team. Matter of fact, I can't even be the star player on the team. I am the team. And I'm saying all of that to say my mindset, even though probably it wasn't the meekest or most humble mindset in the world, but it was built on self-love. I had a regard for my own well-being. And when we're looking at self-love and what it is that we think we deserve, or what it is we think that we're owed, or how we believe we should be treated by another person and or in a relationship, it all boils down to our regard for ourselves and our own well-being and happiness. To me, my well-being meant I'm the only person that's going to be in your life. And if you can't give me that, I'm not giving you my dessert, and you haven't deposited into me. I'm not giving you my cookies. I'm not giving you my cake, and you over there getting cake and cookies from somebody else. That didn't work for me because of my self-regard, but that's because I had a father, a mother, and brothers that deposited into me to show me my worth. Lust has no sacrifice. Love has sacrifice. So when I look at love, someone has to deposit into me just like I'm depositing into them. But I get it. Nowadays, especially if we're in our 20s and 30s or even teens, we live in a world where we want things instantly. We want it right now. We need that immediate response, that immediate love and attention, whether that's a result of growing up on social media and things are instantaneous. Likes and loves show, validation to a person. Whereas growing up, I didn't particularly have that. So I had to build in that. And then I had someone deposit into me. But here's the catch. When we give of ourselves to another person and we give them the best of who we have, and I'm not just talking about sex, I mean the best of ourselves. Sex is a part of that because that is a side of yourself that is totally intimate and should be reserved for a spouse, your spouse, but for at least for somebody special, right? Not just for Joe Schmo just because he looked good in a t-shirt or with his t-shirt off. No, I'm not talking about that. When it comes to our regard for ourselves, we don't want to be in the position of, let me get my foot in the door. Like, oh, I can work towards the title of girlfriend or wife, but I have to do this first. No, you don't have to audition for anything. Someone's going to see your worth or they're not. They're going to love you or they're not. They're going to like you or they're not. But you don't have to look at it as a loss, because it's not a loss to you. It's a loss to them because you're fabulous. And if you don't know that, let me be the first to tell you, you're fabulous. And if someone else can't see it, don't worry about it, because soon the right person will. But here's the thing. We have to grow in self-love in order to emanate that. So let me give you an example. So when I was younger, this guy that I used to work with when I was a lifeguard, I told you all I lifeguarded. And this guy that I used to work with, he, was pretty much from the hood, really cool, really cute, had a little swag about him, but he was, hood swag. That just wasn't my style, my preference, right? So because of that, I really wasn't interested in him in that way. But we were cool. In fact, he's the guy who taught me how to play a mean chess game. So, we were cool. And he came to me one day, and not like he's just sitting up talking to me. He actually came and approached me, told me that he wanted to talk to me and take me out. He was interested in me, very respectful in his approach. Now, I knew his history. I knew he ran a mean game when it came to women. And I was just like, okay, this is interesting. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't tempted, because brother man was fine, but he just wasn't my particular type. So I knew that wasn't going to be worth it. And I also knew I wasn't a girl that was going to give it up. So there was no benefit for either of us in any direction. So while he was talking to me, I really listened to him, and I learned two things. One, the way that he approached me showed that he saw value in me. Not necessarily because of how he sees me, but because how I see myself and how I presented myself, how I carried myself, how I spoke about myself. All of these things presented a way in which he in turn had to come and match that same level of self-love, right? He can't treat me like crap, coming to me, talking to me out the side of his neck, and I have a high regard for myself. No, at that time, I would have pretty much just went off on you or ignored you. Like, you a fool. I don't have time for this. But because he was trying to holler at me and talk to me, he had to meet me where I was. My point is this, ladies. Wherever you are in your self-love, your self-esteem, and your self-worth, the other person is going to meet you there. So you may think you're in control when it comes to a situationship, but more than likely your feelings are caught up because you want more, and you're hanging on hoping that they will see you differently. More likely than not, he won't. Why do I know this? I've talked to a number of guys through the years. I was always friends with a number of guys. And as well as I told you, I have my brothers and my cousins telling me, this is how guys are. This is how they think. And this is what's going on behind the scenes. And I have yet to see any of that advice I was given to be wrong. And there's really no way. And I'm not saying some people can't have sex and go on and fall in love and have the best relationship. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm not saying you can't have a one-night stand and go on and you get married to that person and fall in love. I'm not saying that. That's an outlier. Those are rare, right? They don't really grow from people who really value one another, but you first have to love yourself. You have to have an appreciation for who you are. And that comes from your own actions of how you carry yourself, how you see yourself, how you speak about yourself. Other people see and hear all of that, and they match you where you are. But when you also have a support system that supports you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as well as physically, then those are people that are showing you that they love you and have high regard for you too. So for instance, my brother, one time I told him I had a crush on this guy that lived close to our neighborhood. And he was like, what? That guy's older than me. You don't need to be talking to him. He's a few years older than me. And there's no way you need to be talking to somebody that much older than you. Why? He loved me. He was looking out for me, right? Because he was probably saying, my 20-year-old sister dating somebody that's 30, yeah, he's going to want things that I don't want her to give, because he knew I wasn't giving it up there. Everybody who knows me knows this. This isn't brand new information. I might be discrediting myself from the dating world, but the point I'm trying to make is when it comes to other people supporting you, they will do it in a way in which how they're seeing you. So if your support network isn't showing you love, that's not the right network for you. But this series, No Dessert Before Dinner, it's all about really just teaching us how to grow in that area. And here's the reason why. Again, we as women give so much of ourselves to our partner, but how much do we really get back in return? how much are they really meeting our emotional needs? How much are they really depositing into us? We're giving of ourselves, but what are we really getting back? Because crumbs won't do it. I mean, if we look at, this no dessert concept, when we look at that in its totality, right? We were kids and our parents told us you can't have the good stuff before you've had your sustenance, right? Dinner with your meal is going to be your protein, your meat, your veggies, and all of these should be tasty, but as well fulfilling, healthy for you to build you up so that when you get that sweet part at the end, yes, it's worth it. Yes, it's great to have, okay? We're not going to lie and say sex sucks. We're not going to say that. It's a healthy part of a relationship. But it shouldn't come in place of the relationship. It shouldn't come in the place of, let me do this to get a relationship. That's going out backwards, folks. That's not how we do it. So if you want to be wifed up, no dessert before dinner. If you want to be wifed up, you got to have self-love. If you want old boy to date you and you have a title as his girlfriend, you going home meeting his family, more than likely, I'm just going to be real. If he's just hitting it, sorry, you probably won't be the one that he brings home to mama. Now, I've been fortunate, whereas pretty much every guy I've dated, I've met their mother from day one. But it wasn't because I'm so fabulous or because he was ready to get married. It was because I presented myself in a particular way, meaning I had a high regard for myself. That was first taught to me by the people who love me. That was taught to me by my parents. That was evidenced to me by my father, by my mom, and further instilled in me with my brothers. And then because of their deposit from their support, I was able to see myself a particular way. And I get it. Everybody doesn't have that. But ladies, I'm going to be that person for you if you don't have it. I'm not going to sit here and have this no dessert before dinner and tell you what not to do and then leave you on your own. Okay, bye-bye. Provide nothing, total abstinence, and you'll make it on your own. That doesn't work. If you don't know, you don't know, right? And you need to be taught. And as a counselor, my job is to help people to move from where they are to where you want to be. So let me ask you this, because I get it. This series may not be for everyone, and that's okay. For those of you that have a high sense of self-regard and self-love, I'm so thankful for you, because that means that you get to deposit in the people around you. You get to be that support network for other people so that they can grow in self-love, and you get to be the one to deposit in them. Any type of seed that you sow is automatically going to be given back unto you. But here's the catch. You have to ask yourself, if you're not clear, what does it look like when it comes to self-love? Let's just start with the basics. If you're giving of yourself sexually and dude isn't even meeting your emotional needs, what are you really getting from that relationship? Now, I get it. You got your artist, and I'm not downing any artists, so I'm not going to name any names. But we have artists that are telling you about get your bag, get your coins, all this type of stuff. But you're more than that. You're more than just getting some dollars here and there, getting a new bag here and there, getting a new Louis Gucci, if he's all that, a Birkin bag, whatever it is. You're more than that. You're not a commodity. You're not chattel. You are a person. You have a spirit. You have a soul. And because of that, you deserve to be valued. And if you're not there yet, I am happy to be the one to begin starting to teach you how to do that. And one way I'm going to do that is if you text no dessert and you text that to 877-7LOVE-07. That's 877. Then again, the number 7. Then LOVE 07. So that's 877-7LOVE-07. If you text no dessert to that number, I will send you weekly texts that will give you tips, tools, and resources on self-love, self-worth, self-care, self-importance, and give you little small bites to teach you how to build in that area so that you can have what it is that you need in order to grow in this area. I'm not just going to drop this series telling you what not to do and then not tell you how to go about getting to the other side, which is building in self-love. Won't do that. All right. Here's the reason why this is very important. And I'm not trying to make this a soapbox. This is really just something on my heart that I believe that is really important for us to grow in. And more than likely over some time, I'm going to build a group to really show people, how to go about building in this area of themselves. When we give of ourselves sexually, we create soul ties. What is that, Dr. Sadia? Soul ties occurs when you release yourself sexually to another person. You connect with that individual. Here's the reason you might be able to recognize this. If you've ever had sex with someone and the relationship is over and you're thinking about them. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have a relationship with someone and not have sex and still be thinking about them when the relationship is over. But if you just can't seem to let go and you miss them and you'll find that you're calling them and you're doing all types of things in order to connect with them, in order to get back in their good graces or to start talking to them again. When we have sex with someone, we connect with them. We are one with them, right? Because our bodies are joined together as one. We're one, not two separate individuals anymore. We're one because we're physically connected to one another. When this happens, we create a soul tie, meaning we have this emotional connection to this other person. I've heard guys say it this way. They know that women are in control as long as their emotions are not involved. So it's like when they have the ball, right? Women have the ball. Then when we get our emotions involved, we have given the ball to the guy because he knows when he has our emotions involved, which generally come through sexual relationship, because this is what happens. Women are sexually turned on, of course, physically, but men are more so visual. So men are sexually attracted to us, right? Then they'll try to, come on to us and engage in us sexually. It won't just work. He has to say something. He has to engage us emotionally. When he gets us involved emotionally, that's generally when we give in sexually. When we give in sexually, he's supposed to deposit into us emotionally. But when we're in these situationships and entanglements and we just kicking it or booty calls or whatever we're identifying it as, then that person is not fulfilling the cycle because they are being selfish. And when it comes to love, we have to be selfless. But when we have self-love, we can see these things well before they even happen. So soul ties are created because we have an emotional connection with those in which we engage with sexually. So you can be single, meaning you are not in a relationship with someone, but you still have soul ties from everyone that you have had a physical sexual relationship with. And you have to walk away from that, and you have to learn to let go of those people. And the way that we can go about doing that, in addition to being as spiritual, means that we build our self-love. The way that I'm going to start you off with that on this episode is just by asking you this one question. And here's the question. What would it look like to not have to deal with, and then just fill in the blank, because everybody's dealing with different stuff. So some of you are dealing with drama. Some of you are dealing with, oh boy, seeing somebody else, or not wanting to settle down, or not wanting whatever it is that you're dealing with so-and-so. What would it look like to not have to deal with that? And would it be worth it to not to have to deal with that anymore, right? Could you do it? Meaning, okay, I don't want to deal with this situation anymore. What do I need to do in order to not deal with it? Because more than likely, if we're dealing with it, we're putting up with it. If we're putting up with it, we're looking at it from various angles. Well, maybe if I do this, maybe if I say this, maybe if I try this. We're trying so much on our own, but what is so-and-so doing? So what would it look like to not to have to deal with that thing anymore? All right. And now when you get that visual, right, because now you're looking at life as, all right, you wake up tomorrow and that thing is no longer an issue in your life. It's gone. Now that it's no longer an issue and you are living this best life because that issue is no longer there, what would you do in order to have this happiness, to not have that thing to deal with anymore? So whatever it is, would it be worth it to not to have to deal with that issue anymore? So if you answered, okay, this is the thing that I'm dealing with, yes, I want to be happy, and yes, it would be worth it not to have to deal with that thing anymore, then that means you have it within your power to change things on your end. Trust me, if you start changing certain things and you're seeing someone, they'll either fall in line, or I'm going to be honest, or they won't. Okay. If they fall in line, great. It worked to your benefit. If they didn't, that's not the person for you. Okay. Don't worry. There's plenty of fish in the sea. All right. So it doesn't mean that it will be an issue for life. You're going to be by yourself forever. It just means that this person is not willing to do for you, but yet you're willing to do from them. Is that the relationship that you want? I remember years ago, I had a friend. We were waiting on one of our friends to pick us up from the mall. We had some time because she had some errands to run, and we're sitting there and we're talking, and I'm really kind of expressing my woes about this guy. And she listened. And after she listened, she said, "Do you really want that?" And I got to thinking about, okay, this is the things that I'm dealing with. Yeah. Do I really want that? The answer was no. It wasn't. I wanted the image and the visual of what I thought this beautiful life could be, but it was an issue, a problem that was in the way. And he had to make that problem go away. The only way that I could get him to do that was if I removed myself. And when I removed myself, well, it worked out for a minute, but overall, it really wasn't what he wanted. So I'm saying all of that to say, ladies, no dessert before dinner. I'm not saying we're going on strike and everybody in America, I would love it if everybody in America provided abstinence but everybody's different. Everybody's on different levels, and you have to do what is comfortable for you. But I also want you to get the love that you want, and it must first start with you. So if you don't have self-love, then no one can deposit the type of love that you need, as well as the type of love that you want in a relationship. You got to start it off. You got to be the first one. And the only way you're going to start it off is to make certain that you're showing exactly what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and you just have to learn to start the way. So I'm going to help you with that. Again, text 877-7LOVE-07 so you can get weekly tips, tools, and resources to grow in self-love. But also on the series moving forward, I'm going to go into greater depth into more ways in which we can do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that mentally or emotionally, spiritually, financially, different ways so that you can grow in this area. Because at the end of the day, if you're depositing into someone else and you're giving them 1,000% of you, shouldn't they at least give you all of themselves? They might not get it right, but if they're giving you all of themselves and they're not holding anything back from you, then you can work and build towards correcting areas that you may not really, like or want to tweak a bit. But that's totally different from someone who's giving you crumbs or giving you 10% or lying to you, deceitfulness, and so on and so on. That's not going to work. And I believe you deserve more. So in this series, No Dessert Before Dinner, I'm strictly saying it's time out for giving the best of yourself to somebody who is giving you little of themselves. And if you want more and you desire more, but you just don't know how, stay tuned for the series because it's going to teach you how to grow in that area. All right. I love you guys. I know this isn't for everyone, but that's okay because those that are going to ride with me, we're going to ride this till the wheels fall off. And I believe we're going to have a great time doing it. And we're just going to take it and just see where it goes from here. All right. All right. So let's kind of wrap up the show for today. You know how I like to do it with my usual taking our temperature with our like it, love it, leave it tips. So this is just my opinion. But I want to say my like it tip for the day is that I like the fact that no matter where we are, what types of mistakes we've made, what types of knowledge that we didn't have any awareness of, doesn't matter. What was yesterday is yesterday. And now I can take today for what it is, learn and grow from there, and leave whatever is not worthy of me in my past actually leaving it in my past. So that's the great thing about learning and growing in any area of ourselves. It doesn't matter what we didn't know. You can't help what you didn't know. But now that we become aware of certain things, well, no problem. Let's take that information and let's grow moving forward in our lives. And we only have one place to go, ladies, and that's up, okay? The fellas may not exactly be happy, but I believe it's going to be a benefit and a blessing to you. If this is a challenge that you decide to accept, it's sort of like Mission Impossible. If you decide to accept this challenge, right? And then it kind of blows up from there, but we're not going to blow up. We're going to blow up in a good way. What would I say my love it tip is? My love it tip is simple. If you are really looking at, you know what? This is something that I want to give a try to. I don't know how long I'll be able to last in this abstinence thing. I don't know how long, just because I'm used to having a sexual relationship and it's what I know, it's what I'm accustomed to, and it's what I enjoy. But I'm going to give this a try. I love the fact that you're giving it a try. I love the fact that you've made a decision that I'm not exactly 100% happy in the types of relationships that I get involved with, or, I don't like not having titles, or I don't like my relationships not lasting, or I don't like booty calls and situationships. So I'm going to give this a try and grow in this area and build my self-love so that I present myself in a way that others can give me what it is that I am asking of them, without it seeming like it's a sacrifice or a punishment. So I like the fact, or should I say, I love the fact that you are giving it a try, because it takes a bold person to say, I'm grown, this is different, but I'm going to give it a try, because I believe you're worth it. And I think you're going to get a great benefit from it. And so what will my leave it tip be? Leave all the drama. Leave all the no good relationships. Leave all the no good guys in the past. They are not important at this point. They were great lessons to learn and grow from. But we're going to leave that in the past, and we're going to move on to what we have in the future, which is nothing but greatness ahead for you. So, all right, whether you are in your 20s, your 30s, you could even be in your teens. However old you are, it's all about growing in self-love and feeling good about ourselves. Not like that we do on social media. We get a like or a love or a nice comment. We're going to build self-validation, whereas we have exactly what we need to learn and grow in an area that may not have been our strongest suit. So hang with me, ladies. We're going to go to a wonderful ride, and I think you're going to enjoy it. And like I said, if you want more information, please text no dessert to 877-7love07. Again, that's text no dessert. And you're going to text that to 877-7love07. And I'm going to come to you weekly, giving you some tips, tools, resources, encouragement, affirmations, as well as accountability, and teaching you how to grow in self-love. I think you're going to like it, and we're going to see where this takes us. Till then, I'm Dr. Sadia, helping you to give and receive the love you both want and need. Don't forget to rate and review us wherever you have downloaded the show. We're on all types of platforms now, so wherever you've downloaded us, we'd love to hear from you. Till then, everyone, be blessed. I'm Dr. Sadia. Have a blessed one.